So I don't know what we're going to talk about. Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. It's, of course, April 15th, and a lot of people rushing around. Anyways, and I found out I had to throw some additional money last minute. So, anyways, so I've been running around. Also had an arbitration that I won, and I found out they hadn't logged that. But anyways, that's just life. That's taxes, and it just seems like it's inescapable. That's probably one of the biggest downturns with being a real estate investor is you're just constantly fighting bills, right? Insurance is always getting higher, and the cost of trades and everything else. And anyways, but overall, it's blessed. So anybody got any questions? Fire away. If there's anything you want to talk about, we can cover anything you want. Tell me what you think of my new backdrop. My girlfriend, for my 60th birthday, had made this little sign here. Her dad's an artist. I thought it was pretty cool. It's sitting in the middle of my whiskey collection. But anybody, there's just, it's interesting. I have a property sold. I was talking earlier about that. I had a hit job as far as the inspection report. Maybe I can pull that up and we can talk about inspection reports. And I can show you, there's legitimate, and then there's stuff that's just not, it's a hit job. They try to beat you up. I mean, it's fair. But what can happen is the people that write the report, sometimes people that hire an inspector, they don't know whether they should believe their inspector or not, or you. And then sometimes you have to convince, no, look, and I have to explain the whole hit job theory that I have on them. So anyways, we'll be right back, and we'll get into it. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years. All right, so no real plan here today. I was going to talk about some of the different things. If you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you want to know about real estate, and you can, as you can see, all the the selections behind me. Talk about any topic you want. I've owned and done just about every topic you can see behind you on the bottles. It's interesting with I'm actually involved with a property, and not under certain good means, but a piece of property in California, way out in the middle of nowhere, and I come to find out that the housing authority, HUD, right, Housing Urban Development, they're paying this person's rent, a woman, 2 kids, and they're paying the rent. They're paying $2,756 a month of the $2,800 a month rent. So the gal there is in a house that probably shouldn't be renting for $1,200 a month, to be quite honest. And the state in California is paying $2,800 a month rent. It's absolutely outrageous. I don't know what's your experience with it. I guess if you're on the receiving side of the HUD rentals, you might think it's great. But to me, it kind of makes me sick. You take somebody that's worked their whole life and maybe they saved $2 million and they want to retire on the interest from their $2 million. Well, they'll make less on their $2 million in interest than this gal will for having two children, so, without a husband. Anyways, it is what it is. But anybody got any things you want to talk about? We can cover whatever. What else? Also, if you don't have my book, be sure to get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. And anyways, if you want to learn about real estate, that's actually a really good way to begin. And you people that are just getting started, you're going to buy your first home, or maybe you're going to buy your first investment property. If you really are careful and treat your money like it's a tool, I mean, you'll do really well and you'll go far. But if you simply are nonchalant about it and you don't really do your due diligence, I mean, it can be a hook that'll damage you for years and years. I always say easy to do, hard to undo. And that, I'll tell you, a mortgage, being upside down on a mortgage is very hard to undo. Anyways, what else? I guess we can check. Anybody want to look at a YouTube video, or what do you guys want to look at? Look at a fake guru, or we can look at anything you want. You got a question? We can jump around. What else? Oh yeah, here. By the way, there's the call-in number. If you want to call in, call that number above, and I'll talk to you. Again, like I say, any questions you have regarding just about any kind of real estate, I'd be happy to address. Let's look. So I'm going to go over here. And again, anybody want to talk about anything, you just go ahead, bring it up. I'm at 100% occupancy right now. I've got one little property that just came available. I'll show it to you. And this is a beautiful little property. It's just a great location. And we can talk about parking requirements too, because, they've lessened parking requirements all over the country. I think it's part of a more sinister plan, to be quite honest. But at the same time, I can actually benefit from some of that. But I bought a little house here about, 15, 20 years ago. And let me see if I can show it to you. On the right spot here. Yeah, that's it right there. So take a look at this property. I don't even have it on my list. So this is a little house on about, maybe, I don't even think it's on a third of an acre. Maybe no, it's probably total. In fact, I'd sold the lot behind it at one time. But this is like a 1938 house, wood floor for most of it. There's a little patio. This used to be a patio that's enclosed in front. It's been a farmer's insurance company. It's been a hair salon. It's been a nail salon. I bought this property for like $200,000, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And then I built this building over here to the right. That's little, I think 1,500 square foot. And then there's already 1,000 here. And, a little property like this, on a major thoroughfare like you see here, it's worth a fair amount. I'd probably bring in about $50,000 roughly a year, maybe something like that. And again, just a little old house. Properties like this are they're more common in different areas. The only thing I had to do with this, I had to put in a wheelchair ramp, because they actually considered that the front of the building. They wouldn't allow this to be considered the front, but whatever. I don't know why it really mattered, but regarding investing now, like I said, I just sold a house. All right, I have it under contract, and one of the things I had to fight was the. Let me see if I can find it. Just came in. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So let me show you this. I'll make it a little bigger here so you guys can see it. So this is what I consider a hit job to a degree, not completely, but. So this is a guy picking apart the property in hopes of me coming down on the price. And like I said, I'm just going to go to here's the house. They show the property in front. And then they've got, a lot of disclosures. They're basically not responsible for a lot. They're finding a zero here on the floor height. And then they're trying to talk about if the floor is out or if it's, unlevel and, that sort of thing. If this device is accurate, it's less than a quarter inch out from that point to this point, and that's what you can see. And at the worst spot there is, it shows about 7/8 of an inch from one slab to another. But again, look at it, it's sitting on top of a piece of tile here. So it doesn't really, And again, it's not that big a deal. Half inch, there you go. There's about 3/8 of an inch. A little over a 1/4 inch here. So this slab is very good. Why they even go through this exercise? Well, I mean, I know why they go through it, but they do what they do. There's a little puddle on the patio. They try to point every little thing. Oh, there's not slope where it falls off, and it's fair. But not every slab is poured perfect. Anyways, it's not that big a deal. Now on this, they pointed out the wear on the roof. And it's fair, but they called out that there was no ridge vents, or I'm sorry, that there was no vents. But they seem to be unaware that the entire roof, the full length of the roof, is a ridge vent. That's what you call a ridge vent on top, right there. I was kind of describing this the other day. And by the way, if anybody wants to call in, that's phone number, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about. But let's go further down this report. And now they're pointing out, now this is fair. This is fair. What they're catching here is fair. But there's a reason for this, and it's not representative of the whole roof. This roof had a solar setup on it, and you can look here, and you'll see that I actually had my guys did these patches because they had an array of solar panels on here. So that's why this roof looks really nice, because it was under panels for the most part. But you can see the heavy wear right here to the right of it, and that's because that's where the traffic was, walking up and down. And apparently they've been up and down the roof quite a lot, and that's why it took the sand off the shingles there. But this is one piece of the roof. The rest of the roof looks great, and so that's one of the things we're arguing. See this little area right here? That is right here, and that's the only. Everything else, you can see to the roof on the right here. Not so bad, because that's where the bulk of the walking traffic was. Now, I didn't appreciate him breaking the shingle. He pulled this up and snapped the shingle. I didn't appreciate that. And cricket behind chimney. Actually, the chimney looked like it was just fine, the way it was. Oh, there's a cricket. Yeah, I guess he could make that argument, but it was actually done well, and it doesn't leak. Not everybody applies things the same way, but it looks good. It looks good. It doesn't leak. I looked at it, and it's sound. Again, here, he's doing a thorough job. He's catching everything he can catch. This is how they prove their worth. The starter shingle. Yeah, I think this is fine. Now they're saying there was no metal flashing underneath here. Now that is new to me, and I could not find the part. This doesn't even look like the same color as my house here, but I could not find this for the life of me. In fact, I'm waiting for a report back from one of my guys because I couldn't find any flashing missing when I went around there. Now back inside, they're saying more insulation. Now here's the other thing. They're calling for more insulation in the attic would be better. Well, that's true of every house out there. But you can see what they're doing. They're saying more insulation in the attic is needed, current standards. Current. Well, this house was built in the 70s, and it's 2024. And the standards can change from one year to the next. And so it's really not a fair call. Now, this saying there's no soffit vents, and I don't know that that's true. I gotta have to double check that, but I'm not going to go back and add any now. It's been fine for the years that it's been sitting there. And I saw weep holes in different spots. I don't know why they even went to that. And we have expansion joints. There was one tiny fracture, the slab, and this was the worst crack. And I'm telling you, this house has been sitting there for 40 years, a little over 40 years. And there's only this one little crack here. And, this slab is settled, long settled. Now, he pointed out that this window hadn't got caulked in, and it should have been. And I agree with that. We've already taken care of that. Should have had mortar thrown around it. And he's just kind of doing a close-up on that. Now, in the garage, where there's slope on the garage, there's some cracks on the floor. I don't think it's of any concern. There's no water. There's no, there's no pipes underneath there. And, they did do a somewhat poor job on that, I would agree. He did find one hairline crack on the tile, which is really not significant in a house that's that old. Up here, this is a fair call. There's vents that used to run to a gas heater here. Those should have been pulled out. We've already pulled them out and patched them. That's done. And their sweep, you can see showing a little light under the door here. That's fair call. We've already fixed that. Again, he's pointing out some fireplace had a number of bricks that were shifted. Now, I've seen a lot of that, but it's not the end of the world. But I don't think it's that severe. Perhaps they could be filled, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. For the price, this is an as-is sale. If they want to go, there's a little hole in here in the brick. Again, not a big deal. They pointed out, around the piping, but again, they're not buying a new house. So, keep that in mind when you're selling something. And they even went to the extent of here taking thermal photos in here, and which I'm not even sure why they even bothered. But, and I don't even want to know. I can see, and they're probably going to go, yeah. And now this is a fair call. The service, where it's being fed, had some bare wires, and we've already taken care of that. We kind of rewrapped those. They called for they actually were asking, the buyers were asking for a new electrical box, breaker box, and I said, we're not going to replace that box. The box is fine. Now they pointed out these connections with aluminum wire. There's usually there's a little antioxidant gel compound there. They all put them on there when they tighten them down, but it's whatever. It's dried out over 40 years. This arc fault, this is something that is not even was never required back in the day. They're just showing an example of one. A bubble outlet cover, that would be to today's standards. I have one that was standard at that time of when the house was built. AC is fine. He pointed out that the AC, there's some exposed pipe, the copper could be covered and insulated, and that's fair call. And then this is probably the right here, this should have a shut-off valve. When you ever have when you have water backing up from the condensation line, you want it to shut the machine off. And that there's an example of a float switch, and that's a fair call on that. And a dirty filter, no doubt about it. We did a lot of work in there. There probably was drywall dust in there and everything else. Anyways, but again, here they noticed that the pan, this should have a pipe and exhaust out, an overflow going outside. Same with the pressure valve. If it ever got too high pressure, blown out there. Anyways, so that was the report that I had to deal with today, and we'll see if we close on that. I don't know. I think we're going to close still, but I don't know. But I feel blessed, 100% occupied. Those of you here for the first time, I've got a pretty decent portfolio. All those properties you see are all ones that I own or have bought at one time and flipped, or most I still own, to be honest. But I've got everything you can see, and this is from the distance. Apartment buildings, commercial, industrial, office, trailer park, food truck park, actually, and many other buildings, and houses and land as well. There's tens of millions of dollars in profits here, and equity, and it's a wonderful place to be. And that's really what I try to show everybody in the class. And if you go to FlipAnythingUSA.com, you can see my students are basically emulating my steps, and they're making millions of dollars. Many of them have made multiple millions now. So it's a very cool thing. And, I urge you to take a look at FlipAnythingUSA.com when you have time, and consider looking at it. Carl wrote, Tom, been on a church mission, just got back. Hey, Carl. Yeah, I was wondering, buddy. You'd be a perfect fit in there, Carl. Carl's already been approved for the class. He's also got some real estate chops, like a lot of people in the class. I tell you, a lot of people look for people that are green and gullible, and those young people, and sometimes not so young people, get taken advantage of. I always go after the best and brightest, and I've been really good about attracting. And Carl falls into that category. He owns a lot of real estate. A very, very respectable amount. And so he will, like I say, he'd be an asset to the class. And so I'm looking forward to you being in the class, Carl. Hope to hear from you soon. And anyways, Adam wrote, Zoom meeting link, please. Adam, are you in the class right now? I don't know that name, sorry. So we have a Zoom meeting for members. And then we have the Thursday meeting. If you want to get into a webinar, Adam, I urge you to just go to FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. I'll show that to you real quick here. Okay, let me pull this one off. There you go, right there. FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. That's how you register for the webinar, and you'll get a link there so that you can get into the Zoom webinar and I'll basically show you how I made my first million in the 80s and how I've gone on to make tens of millions since. There's real estate's just a wonderful way to do it. And actually, it's funny because I just heard from Ken here. Ken's a great guy. In fact, I'll play this clip. Just
everyone who's listening out there, I highly recommend Tom's course, the Mentorship Program. I myself have made over $600,000 in a period of just a couple of months. Without the Mentorship Program, I would have never been able to do this transaction. So get into the Mentorship Program. It'll be the best investment in your life.
So, yeah, and I'll tell you, it's just wonderful because there's really no slouches at all in my class. And Ken, he's fireman for 40 years. He's got a nice portfolio. When he did that, he'd made his first $600,000 since being in the mentorship. He's gone on to buy 2 more properties, and he's made basically $1.4 million now. In fact, he just wrote me a little bit ago. He's got a property he sold, owner finance. He asked me to take a look at the note secured by deed of trust, and that's sitting in my email, and I will look at that for him. And it's like I can say most people are always so impressed when they find out they actually have access to me, and which is sad because when somebody's these mentorships where you're being mentored by a bunch of people that don't know what the hell they're doing, that's just sad. That's terrible for the people involved. But a lot of crazy stuff going on. We got this war in the Middle East, and we've got just new bullshit all the time. We've got 24,000 new people illegally entering from China, and they have a pretty tight grip on that country. They know exactly who they let into this country, and they came in through Mexico. They didn't walk here, and so they got flown in and then walked in. So it's pretty interesting what's going on because it's tough enough taking care of the people in our country on our tax dollars, paying $2,800 a month rent, like I mentioned earlier, for people that don't work, and much less pile on whatever another 10 or 15, 20 million, whatever it's been this year to take care of. So it's all you can do is really to hedge your bets against a poorly run government is just make money. I'd rather be complaining about paying my taxes and seeing the money wasted than to be on the government dole and begging for some money. I don't like any of it, but it is what it is. So any real estate? Anybody got anything they want to talk about? How about you, Carl? Anybody? Otherwise, I will wrap it up. And I'm kind of exhausted. I've been running around a lot today, and so I'm ready to have a glass of wine or something. So, anyways, hey, thanks for hanging out again. Sorry, not better prepared today, and we'll see y'all later. Thanks. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.